Hi, I'm Jeff Shropshire with Shropshire Insurance of Texas, and today we continue our series on personal lines quick facts. And today I'd like to talk to you about the homeowners policy, in particular property insurance that comes with your homeowners policies. So if you're out shopping your homeowners insurance, these are some things that we would have as suggestions for you when you're comparing quotes or looking for coverage, and depending on the marketplace where we're seeing some differences in policies now, things you might want to consider. First of all, when you get a homeowner's quote, you need to look at the valuation of your home. Most of the time in today's world with inflation, everybody thinks that number seems really, really high. Many times it's construed through insurance companies develop that based off of information that is put in from an insurance agent, such as the types of construction quality and building materials that are in your home. You want to make sure that number is correct, because if you should have a total loss, you want to make sure that the building could be built back at today's cost, and that's called replacement cost. It's very important because in some instances we're seeing replacement cost interchange with actual cash value, and there are very two different situations on how a claim is paid. We always recommend in every instance that you can to always get replacement cost, because that's the policy that's actually going to put you back and rebuild things at today's cost without taking depreciation. Ask your agent or the agent who's quoting to make sure that the form of the homeowners is either an HO3 or better. Those provide the broadest coverages for many of the perils that you're going to need. Anything below an HO3 starts getting into very limited coverage, so you want to be very careful. Those policies can be cheaper, but you need to be aware of what you're buying. Some other areas would be foundation coverage. Some policies pick up foundation coverage, some do not. Some can be added on an endorsement. Foundation coverage is not the shifting of the home because of the earth. Foundation coverage has to do with if you had a water leak under the slab, the tear in and the tear out to get to that water pipe for the repair is typically what foundation coverage is. Ask your agent or ask us, and we can pull a copy of that endorsement for you to review. Many people assume that water damage is automatically covered. In this marketplace, we have seen some instances where water damage has to be added on. That would be water damage from like a broken pipe and the resulting damage that can pour water out throughout a room and damage carpeting and wall boards. Ask to make sure that water coverage is covered. Then separately, but they sound the same, as water backup or sewer backup coverage. This is typically an endorsement onto our homeowner's policy, but this is if the toilet or the sewer backs up and causes damage from the water overflowing and then the pollutants that come with it. You'll want to ask, does your policy have water backup? And usually we have to choose the limits, so we'll need to discuss what limits you need to make sure that we could properly take care of all your damages. Your deductibles are very important on your property side of your policy for the homeowners. You will have typically two deductibles. The first one is your wind and hail deductible. It can vary due to the region that you're in. In our region here in Lubbock, we typically see 1% or 2%, sometimes a little bit more. In some of the metropolitan areas, you will probably see more than that. There are some endorsements that you'll need to look for to make sure that you understand that if they're in your policy, how it's going to affect. One that we're seeing on many carriers now when they're writing business is they're putting what they call a roof settlement schedule onto a policy. This can dramatically impact the amount that you get on your claim, to where if you were to have a hail claim, for instance, you'd have your hail deductible. But if your policy has a roof settlement schedule, it gives a grid of the type of roof that you have compared to the age of your roof, and then the company charges you back a percentage of that claim on top of your deductible that you'd have to pay. It does lower the premium of your policy, but it also lowers your claim payout. So make sure when you're getting quotes to ask, is anything like a roof scheduled endorsement on your policy? Also, we're seeing that in some instances, roofs are being paid on an actual cash value if the roof is over a certain age. So you'll need to find out, does that endorsement on your policy about limiting the age of your roof for replacement costs to replace your roof, or would it be actual cash value? You need to know that before you have a claim. Also, Policies that have that can tend to be cheaper, but at claim it can be more expensive, so you need to ask your agent about that. Finally, here's a couple of additional coverages that typically as well that would be added on that you might want to ask about. There's buried utilities coverage. Many carriers offer this. This is if you were doing work at your home, remodeling, and you're digging and you hit an electrical utility line and you cause damage. There's coverage for that under this sort of endorsement. There's identity theft coverage to help pay for expenses should your identity be stolen. These expenses are typically the ones that are used with working with credit agencies to get your credit back, not necessarily any monies that have been stolen from you. And then finally, there's the equipment breakdown endorsement that some people like to have on their policy. They can pick up some additional coverages, typically in the areas of air conditioning and items like that. So as you can tell, homeowners insurance has become a little bit more complicated, but there's a policy for you and your family. And here at the Shropshire Insurance of Texas, we would love to help you either review your current policy or get you some quotes to see what policy best fits your family.